Now, moving
Thank you.
on to the most funny and the mischievous boy in our class, Priyavrat, with Anubhav Das for the Kadak Chai with Gurukul Drona. I would like Anubhav Das sir, and Priyavrat to unmute your mic, please.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is fine and healthy. I, Priya Ratna, the host for today, welcome you to Kadak Chai with Gurukul Drona, the most famous talk show in the world. To make this more interesting, we have a multi-talented face with us. He's the founder and managing director at Red Otter Farms. He's also he's also the head of sales and marketing and experiential educator and business head for children outdoor program. An amazing exhibitor, photographer and documenter of indigenous communities. Please welcome the most talented author of Book Baiga with a big round of applause. Mr. Anubhav Das.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to join you guys, and I'm so happy. I came on a little while ago, so I've been hearing all of you talk, and it's really wonderful to see the kind of confidence that I'm seeing with all of you. And I'm really happy to be a part, happy to answer any questions that you have. I think Priyavrat has introduced me with far more words than I'm actually used to. So I'm going to leave it with Priyavrat to start whatever questions he has, and we can take it from there ahead of that.
Good afternoon,
Thank you
sir.
for having me. Good afternoon.
Sir, we are honored to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Our audience is very excited to know more about you. So I have a bunch of questions to ask. May we start?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we have heard about your work in aqua farming. It would be great if you share something more with us.
Right. So I am what we call an aquaponics farmer. Aquaponics basically is a type of farming in which we grow plants in only in water. You know, typically when you think of plants, you think of them growing in soil. But what plants do in soil is just take nutrients through their roots, and they need water to do that. So what we've done is, instead of trying to put the plants in soil, we just hang them in water. And all the nutrition, the food that the plants need, we actually add into the water and provide that directly to the roots. So because of that, the plants still get all the food they require and they grow, but they don't need any soil. So what changes for that is all the bad elements that you have in soil, all the pests that you have, all those move away, and you're able to create better quality of food. Additionally, when you do this, we are able to actually save water because no water drains away. And therefore, this is becoming a sustainable system. In fact, across the world now, there's a movement, and you might have heard this word called hydroponics, which is basically the growing of plants in water. In aquaponics, we actually add fish to this system as well. And the wastewater from the fish provides the nutrition or the food for the plant. In that process, we actually don't have to throw out any water at all. So as an example, I set up my farm about 4 years ago. I haven't had to add too much water. The only water I add is what the plants really take up. The rest of the water stays there. And so as we are talking about in the world, we are talking about wastage of resources, we are talking about conservation of water. These kind of farming systems are becoming very important to do. That's what I've been working on. I've spent about the last 3 years doing research and a pilot project on that. And now, since the beginning of this year, we've been running it as a commercial operation. we also sell the produce now to clients. That's what aquaponics is about.
This is very interesting, Anubhav sir. I think that Priyavrat has just got some connectivity issues, but all the things that you told us about aquaponics and hydroponics is amazing information.
Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah.
and we already have the audience struggling to raise their hands because now they want to ask so many questions to you. But first, we will come back to Priyavrat, who's the talk show host of Kadak Chai with Gurukul Drona. Priyavrat, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please go ahead. Divyanshri, can you just help Priyavrat? I think he's facing some connectivity issue.
Yes, sir.
Okay, in the meantime, Anubhav sir, I will ask you a question. Okay, in the meantime, Nishant is itching to ask you a question. Till the time Priyavrat comes back again, can we have question coming from Nishant Goli, please?
Sir, what type of plants do you grow?
A very interesting question, Nishant. And in fact, lots of people ask me that question when they think about it in terms of water. Aquaponics, when you think about it, is actually the method of delivering the food for the plants. So you could actually set up a variety of ways. We can grow all kinds of leafy vegetables. We can grow all kinds of root vegetables. You know, across the world now, there's research happening, and there are even banana plantations and mango orchards that are being set up with aquaponics. Because what it's doing is saving a lot of water and giving you a lot of energy and scarce resource saving. In India right now, I grow spinach, I grow lettuce, I grow kale and Swiss chard, I grow tomatoes, I grow cherry tomatoes, and all of this we are doing at a commercial scale, which means we are selling. But we are now trying to do the same thing with things like brinjal and lauki and cucumber. The idea is to bring this technology not only for, you know, exotic or very different kind of produce, but for our daily vegetable needs as well. So you could even grow mango trees actually with this kind of a system. What you need to change is the structure in which that water flows, right? So when I'm doing a leafy vegetable, I do it in like a 1 foot layer of water. When I'm doing a tree or a plant like tomato, I actually put it into literally like a closed gamla, and I grow it in that, and the water circulates through that.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Vasundhara ma'am, I'll just request you to hold your question. We will come back to you. Priyavrat is back with the connectivity. Priyavrat, sir has answered about aquaponics. You were facing some problems in the connectivity. The show is all yours, Priyavrat. Back to you.
Wow, sir, aqua farming is so interesting. Let's move on next question. So we heard about organic farming. So is sustainable farming related to organic farming?
In some ways, yes. Because when we talk about organic farming, what we are trying to do is move away from the use of chemicals. And India, till about 40 years ago, never really used chemicals in their produce. And when we weren't using chemicals, there was no need for regeneration of soil or to make changes to the soil. It's the chemical input that start harming the soil that we have, right? So sustainable farming is about maintaining the quality of the soil, ensuring that you use good quality water and keep the water rather than waste it. So every organic farming system is typically talking about a sustainable approach to farming. And when we talk about aquaponics also, in some ways it's similar. You know, we are talking about conserving water. We are talking about making sure we don't need to depend on chemicals for our use. Interestingly, I have to share with you that, very often, even in hydroponics, there can be chemical usage. In aquaponics, because we have fish, there we have no chance, because the minute you put a chemical, it will actually harm the fish. So by force, aquaponics has become much more organic to that extent, in terms of the quality, in terms of what we are doing. The only difference is we don't use soil. Right? Does that answer your question, Priyavrat?
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you, sir, for answering. Organic farm is so useful and safe for us. Let's move on next question. Few days back, our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, had come up with Farmers' Bill. After passing bill, some farmers were against it and some were for it. So what according to you is the bill, and it is good or bad for farmers? Your views on this?
So I will need to give you a little bit of an understanding into what this bill was about. And if you think about it, farming till now was always a limited system in which anybody who ran a farm had to, by force, only go and sell it into the local mandi. Right now, that system was followed by some and not followed by some. But as a rule, you were only supposed to go and sell to one person. What that means is that you could be producing anything, but you were forced to only sell to one person, and that person had the power to decide whether he would buy from you or not. So you were therefore tied in, and you didn't have the freedom to do what you wanted to. Right? And that's why the mandi became very powerful. Now, given that scenario, today, this bill has said that you are not tied to any mandi. You can go and sell to anyone, anywhere in India. Now, that in some ways is a very good factor, right? Because if you think about it, if I am told I can only buy from one, I can only sell to one person, I don't have any power. So today, this bill actually gives the farmers a lot more power. But the history, you have to understand that even the mandis were also some of the bigger farmers. So when they talk about this farmers being against the bill, the question we have to ask is, are they the farmers who were going and selling to the mandi? Or are these the farmers who are protesting, who were managing the mandis? And when you think about it, if you are the manager of the mandi, today you don't have any more power. Your power has shifted. So obviously you will fight for your power. However, the big thing to keep in mind is that for every system, there is some good and there is some bad. When we have opened this for all the smaller farmers, but we don't give them the facility to go to the market or to go to the other mandi, they're still going to be stuck. So from that perspective, will this over time be a good decision or not? We have to wait and see. But for the moment, if you look at it, you have given freedom to the farmer. And that will always be a good thing. Right? There's a lot more that can be talked about, but I think this will explain the basics of it. And that should be enough for you for now to understand what it is.
This is really, really informative, Anubhav sir. I think you have cleared the clouds from all this halla-gulla that's going on in the media for the last 2 months or so. Actually giving power to the farmer, whether you want to sell to the mandi or anywhere else, is beneficial for them, of course. Yeah.
Wow, sir, your views were nice. Thank you, sir, for answering. Let's move on next question. Sir, you are a multi-talented personality. You have vast knowledge on farming, branding, photography, and also an author of book Baiga. We would love to hear more about the book.
Yeah. So one thing that I used to work with earlier was, and it was a company that I set up because when I used to travel for my photography and right from after college, I trained as a photographer and I studied photography and I used to document village life. And over the years from between 1997 to 2010, I saw lots of changes happening in every village. We were talking about development, and in the process, roads were coming into the villages, health was changing. One of the things that I noticed was also that in the tribal community, a lot of their traditions were changing. So, there were some tribal communities that had particular foods, they dressed in a certain way, they ate certain food, and that was starting to also change. And when I noticed that, I felt that it was important, being a photographer and a documenter, to at least document those changes. All of us sitting in cities and towns were deciding what was good and what was development. I'll give you an example. When I went to the Bega community, the men there had a tradition of keeping long hair. But a new teacher had come to their school and he would cut off all the boys' hair, saying that you don't look presentable. Right? That understanding was what we decided to address. And at least, if not be able to keep tradition, at least look at documenting. So the Bega was this interesting community, which when the Britishers were there, were literally told that if you want to be a Bega, if you want to practice your tradition, you will only stay in one small pocket of India and you can't move anywhere else. And this was done to them in 1870s and 1890s. Until 1970, that community didn't have a road coming in there as well. So when we went in, we saw the transition of their lives happening because roads had started to come in, because changes were coming. And we decided that this was a document on their clothing, on their jewelry, on their food practices, on their farming practices, not just only as an academic idea, but to be able to show to a larger world how some traditions must be kept. And because you follow certain traditions, you're not old-fashioned. Often as children or even as adults, we are told that as you are growing up, that was old style. वो हमारे नाना नानी के टाइम का था, right? And now you all will be proudly saying कि आप लोगों के टाइम का था, because I am what, 20-30 years older than all of you. But the point we were making through this process, and we try to keep making, is that everything that is old is not bad and everything that is new is not good. So it becomes important for us as individuals and even as youngsters to start differentiating between all of that. What is actually good and what is actually not good. It doesn't need to be just because everything was old, it's bad.
That is so valuable information, Anubhav sir. So much to speak to you, Priyavrat. This is going amazing, but our audience is itching to ask some questions to you about aquaponics, hydroponics. So Priyavrat, can we just put the focus to our guests now, where they can ask some questions to Anubhav sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Vasundhara ma'am, you were raising hand. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. My question is there any difference in taste and price, the vegetable fruits we get from soil and water? What's the...
Well, yeah. In taste, I think, and this is feedback that we've got from our clients. Often they tell me that, this was the taste they used to get when they were children in their small towns and villages, which basically means 30-40 years ago, when there wasn't so much of chemical use. And because in our farms, there is no use of chemicals, the taste really is different. right? In terms of pricing, I have to say the pricing is a little more right now, but it is very comparable, or actually in some cases equal to what is referred to today as organic produce. So if you've seen in the market today itself, the difference between what is conventional chemical-based produce and what is organic produce, there's a difference. We
Yes.
typically fall in the organic produce category.
All right, that's great. Okay, we have a second question coming from Nishant. Nishant, please go ahead quickly.
What type of fertilizer do you use for your plants?
So I actually use only fish waste as my fertilizer. You know, when fish breathe, and in the waste that they have, they produce ammonia. Ammonia is broken down into nitrate, and that is what all plants require for their growth. So we actually don't add any fertilizers to the plant system. We take that fertilizer from the fish. Much like if you've heard of organic farming, you would have heard of them using gobar, right? From the cows to put into the field. Instead of the cows, we've just replaced them with fish. And
Okay,
instead of soil, we've put them in water.
That's a classic example of somebody's waste being somebody's gold. Yeah, that's so
Absolutely.
informative.
And you know what's interesting, Narendra bhai, just to complete this, is when the fish, when the plants take up that nutrient and the food, they actually clean that water and it can come back to the fish. So it's each system helping the other system and working together.
That is superb. Okay, can we quickly have the last question coming from the audience? Anybody who wishes to ask a question, please go ahead. Vishal sir, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, sir, Anubhav sir, for the insight on aquaponics. It was very good knowledge regarding this. One question is, since you use fish, do you feed the fish? What food do you feed the fish?
So you have, so we do have two types of fish. One is commercially produced outside, and then there's some that we will also make in-house.
Okay. So that doesn't spoil the water or anything?
No, it doesn't. No.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So anything that spoils the water is the humans itself. The other species, they know how to
Absolutely.
clean up everything themselves.
Thank you very much, sir, for the insight on aquaponics.
No worries. The simplest way you can think of aquaponics is think of a river system. The river has plants, the river has fish, the river has water flowing through, and yet all of it keeps surviving.
Right.
We are just taking that system for food production for humans.
Anubhav sir, I'm sure that the lot of audience wants to ask questions. We have Jia and Shreya raising hands, but paucity of time, we will not be able to give them the screen time as of now. I will request you to please leave your number on the chat box for everyone's convenience. So if anybody wishes to connect with you, they can connect individually with you. Yeah, it'll be really nice if you can drop your phone number onto for the convenience of our guest. Over to you, Priyavrat. Priyavrat, over to you.
Wow, sir, I hope book bag. I hope everyone will take book bag. Let's move on to the last question.
Okay, Priyavrat, we'll have to close the question because we are running out of time. So I request you to close Kadak Chai as of now. I'm sure a lot of people want to have a piece of Anubhav sir. This grand finale can go on for 2 hours more.
All I can say, I know I've had a good time and I've been talking a lot more than I should have. So I apologize for that. What I can offer is at any point of time, if Narendra wants, I'm happy to do another session with all of you where we can take all your questions together. All right?
This will be really, really interesting. Thank you so
Priyavrat,
much.
thank you so much for all your questions and for anchoring this piece. I think you've done an excellent job.
Thank you so much, Anubhav sir. Priyavrat, you have been an excellent host of Kadak Chai with Gurukul Drona. We are really, really proud of you, Priyavrat. And thank you, Anubhav sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the phone number of Anubhav sir is on the chat box. Please take it down and you can carry on your questions and your discussions with him on phone. In the meantime, over to you, anchors.
Last point. Please, whenever you send me a message, have a little bit of patience just in case I don't reply immediately, because I do have a schedule that I need to try and manage. But I will get back to your messages. And whenever you message, please just write your name and say reference Gurukul Drona so that I know who's calling me and who I have to respond to. All right. Thank you so much, all. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Over to you, anchors.
Priyavrat, the chai was very amazing. It was very tasty. Really, the questions were very amazing, and Anubhav sir, the answers were also amazing. Let's have a big round of applause for Anubhav sir and Priyavrat.
Thank you all. Pleasure.